All right, hello everybody, welcome back for another edition of You Asked, and I am going to answer. And today we're talking about bad ideas, and specifically other people's bad ideas, right? Because you and I don't have bad ideas. Of course not. We are professionals. But before we get into the question, let me remind you that there is a Wandering DP Patreon, where if you want to be a cinematographer, or if you have any interest beyond just the information that's presented here on this channel, there is thousands of hours of videos, podcasts, content over there that I have been working on for the last 8 years. If you have ever thought about any question with cinematography, I guarantee I have touched on it in some form or fashion over the last 8 years there, and you can find it. You get instant access to the entire back catalog of all the breakdowns, of all the feature films that we have looked at, of all the different cinematographers and scenarios, and every little tip and trick that I have ever thought of is over there. And that is who makes these videos possible in the first place. I couldn't do it without the support of the Patreon group. And for that, each and every week, I update with some sort of video over there way before YouTube gets access to any of that stuff. So if you're interested in supporting the channel, that is the best spot to do it. And I appreciate all of the support. That being said, let's get into this week's question. Here we go. It's from OF1300. What would be examples of bad ideas in the initial stage? And I will fill out the context here in saying that this was a comment on a video where we were in a space and it had one window in it. And we were on the Tech Scout, and then we actually shot the thing. And I was talking about, well, you want to go in with really good ideas, because if not, bad ideas will flood the vacuum that you leave. And that's the entire tip that I'm going to offer up today, which is you want to know about what bad ideas would be in any commercial environment. And I say commercial very specifically, right? Because I work in commercials. I don't make music videos or short films or feature films with my best friends. And we have this open collaborative thing where we can just throw out ideas and it'll all be unicorns and lollipops when I completely crush someone's terrible idea. It's really hard to make good things. Very, very difficult. The vast majority of stuff, if you just leave it up to randomness, will be complete and utter dog shit. That's just the way it works. It's really, really hard to constrain all of that randomness and output something that is halfway decent. There's not a lot of options to do it. And when you're in a scenario like I was, where you have one window, the style that I like, which is why I'm on the job in the first place, right? My taste is what has gotten me onto the job. I want to say, hey, this is my taste. I want to go in having thought about an idea. Because the easiest way to have bad ideas enter the realm of possibility in the first place, like you put it on the table. If it's never on the table, nobody ever goes, oh, we could have done X, Y, or Z. No, it's like if you go into a space, and this is going to sound bad, but this is reality. Different than a fairy tale. If you go into a space and the director says, okay, well, we have a scene here between two people. They're going to have a little bit of a back and forth here. And I haven't really thought about where they should be or what the orientation should be. Does anybody have any ideas? First of all, they never say that, because they say, normally they look to the cinematographer and they go like, what do you think? You know, Julio, like that's a good name for a DP. Like, what do you think, Julio? And you go like, okay, now it's my time. Never does the DP, or very rarely does the DP go, you know what? I haven't thought about it. I haven't thought anything about it. So I don't know. So does anybody else have any ideas? Like, does anybody else have any favorites from big budget movies that are far exceed our capabilities that they want to throw out so we can all be disappointed when we can't do that? And you look around the room and then somebody eventually, goes like, oh, I got an idea. It's like they did, in this French film in 1976, they did this amazing, floor to ceiling fisheye shot, and it zoomed around in 360 degrees, and we could try that. And then the director goes like, yes, yes, Guillermo, let's do that. And then you're like, oh, no, that's not a good idea. That's going to be, that is way beyond the resources or the capabilities that we have access to. But nobody knows that because they have no idea how to make something good in the first place, or the fact that it takes a lot of time and energy to do that. And they think it just randomly springs up because they watched it on television, and think because we make television and they also see things on television that it's all super easy. No, you're the person who knows that isn't the case. So what do you want to go into jobs with? Like, what are you there for? Are you there to move the camera and to pick the camera and pick all the settings and things like that? Is that what you think you're there for? Wrong. You're there for ideas, solutions to problems, which are ideas. Pro tip, you want to think about the job before you get there. You want to run these things through in your head. Why? Because it's free to do in your head. It's very expensive to do on set. It's free to do. Just run through as many different possibilities. If you do that and you don't come up with any ideas, or you don't like the process of doing that, of coming up with ideas, you probably don't like the job, right? You're probably better suited for another position that is not cinematography. You have to like that part because that is the entire job, or that's how you get good at the job. You want to come in hot with, this is where they should stand. This is what it will look like. This is why you're going to like it. This is why I like it. And you don't even have to explain that second part. It's like, just imagine if you didn't do this. Imagine if you went into the job again and you just said, well, I don't know where they should stand. I don't know what the mood should be. I haven't thought about any of this until we got here on the Tech Scout. I didn't think a single thing about it. I didn't look at the treatment that the director sent me. I didn't actually recall any of the information that the director and I had in our initial chat. If I'm working with a brand new person, when they tell me about the job and the look that they want, like I didn't take any of that on board. I just showed up. Just imagine how crazy you would have to be. That would never happen. Of course, that would never happen. But also realize how important it is when you're coming in hot with these ideas. Like they should, in a perfect world, the production and the director should calm you down. You should come in the hottest. That's the best way to eliminate bad ideas. Because if you're any good at the job, you will be coming with what? Tell me right now, you're going to be coming in hot with what? I hope you said good ideas, right? If you said dog shit ideas, we're in trouble. Good ideas. You don't want to be leading them down a path that is going to lead to not good ideas. Why? You end up with less work, okay? Who's the only person whose opinion actually matters for you getting more jobs? It's the director, okay? And the director and the producer, they get along, right? You got to keep the producer happy. You got to keep the director happy. If they like you, guess what? It's coming your way, more work. If the art department person hates you and the director and DP and producer like you, guess what? Doesn't matter. You're going to get more work. It's like, okay, is the end goal more work? Is it that people like you and that you're a nice person? You decide. You decide. You can do both. But how do you shut down bad ideas? It's the same way you shut down bad ideas if you are on the playground, right? If you're a 6-year-old on the playground and someone tosses out a bad idea in the group of wanting to play some game that you don't want to play, you say, that's a good game, Billy. How about we do this? How about we do one of my games and we do one of your games? And then you do the one of your games. And then when it's Billy's turn to do his game, you're like, Billy, my game was super fun. Are you sure you want to do your game? Like maybe it's not as good. And then Billy says, no, I want to do mine. And you go, okay. Then you play that one too. I don't know why I came up with that, but it's true on a film set, right? You don't want to immediately poo-poo someone's bad idea unless you're that kind of person. I am not. I'm like the go with the flow type of person. For example, on this job, if the director would have said like, you know what? I don't want to face the window. I don't like any of your ideas. I feel like we should play it from the other way. You know what I would say? I would say, okay, let's do it. I like this. I like this new approach. I like that we're doing something different. Like, can we do a 360? Can we do fisheye? Can we do all of those things? Why? Because I'm trying to be nice and I'm trying to be helpful. I'm trying to be cheerful and constructive. Like that's what I'm there for. Do they need me there? No. Is it a pleasure to be there? Yes. Or I would have said no to the job, right? I'm not some stooge employee that has to show up every single day to work. I chose to say yes. So I'm coming in hot with positivity. Now, I want to eliminate dog shit choices though, right? Because a lot of those over time means that I don't have anything good to show. And in the end, like maybe if the director likes your stuff and you shoot crapola stuff, like maybe you'll get more work. But it's much more, if you want to err on the side of probabilities, like make really good stuff. And then you'll probably get more jobs from directors other than the ones that are currently employing you. Okay, so I'm sort of like hedging my bets there of trying to make good stuff. And it's very hard work to know how to make good stuff, right? Out of this sea of noise, it's very hard to find signal. The natural state of the universe is disorder, right? It's going to be chaos. It's very hard to make something, to have a final output that is controlled and precise and feels nice and good. And you have to eliminate a whole bunch of options. It's like through physical constraint, you engineer the world to get you there, or the universe to get you there. And that takes very specific steps. And you should know those steps. Why? Because that's the job. The job is knowing those steps. The job is not knowing the camera settings or the little fiddly, we're going to use this lens instead of this lens. And it's going to give us a flare and a thing in the back. Maybe that's a little part of it. But the bigger part of it is like, let's come up with the ideas and let's show how we can use the limitations that we have, the constraints that are pressed upon us to get as close as possible to that final outcome. So what are bad ideas? Any ideas that aren't mine. How do I eliminate any ideas that aren't mine? Well, again, that sounds bad. Any ideas that aren't mine are bad. No, that's not right. It's just that I'm not going to do, imagine best case scenario. I've been doing this, let's say 15 years. I don't know. Say I've done 1,000 jobs. Okay. I only get 1,000 chances at this. Like, especially if just imagine you're starting your career off and you're like, I don't know, out of all the people that I started with, maybe 1% of those folks got to 100 jobs as a cinematographer. Maybe 1%. You only get so many chances to like do what you want. So come in hot with ideas. Any idea that isn't mine? And you're like, oh, what about the collaborative process? Okay. If your idea is better than mine, yes. But I have the baseline. I don't want to go below the dog shittedness of my ideas. So I don't know. I hope that helps. You're not going to shoot many of these, even if you're super successful. So you might as well do what you want. In fact, on Patreon, in the video from a few weeks ago, in the content there, I broke down a scene or a set of scenes from American Beauty, which won the Oscar for Best Cinematography in, I think it was the year 2000. You look at this sequence and you know what Conrad Hall said? He said, I don't care that it doesn't match or it doesn't make any sense. This is the way that I want it to look. I don't know. This is his idea or the director's idea, whoever idea it was, it doesn't matter. In the end, it's attributed to Conrad Hall. It's like, does it match? No. Does it make a difference? No. Does anybody care? No. Does it look good? This specific shot in this specific sequence looks pretty good. And I had it in my mind and I made it. Do that, right? Try to eliminate everybody else. And I would hope, like you're like, okay, that's kind of pessimistic, that you would shut down everyone else's. No, I hope that the art department person would say the same thing. It's like, I have an idea, but if you're good at arting, if you're the art person and I come up with an idea, hopefully you have a better one than me. If I have the best art department ideas, we are in trouble. We're in trouble. Okay. And I want my collaborators to be as good as possible at their jobs. That way we can come together like the Power Rangers, right? Or any other team, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? But I get to be the guy, Raphael. I don't want to be the guy with the stick. Okay. Anyway, I hope that helps. Bad ideas are everywhere and they are the norm. You should be the one that brings good ideas. Good luck. Okay, that's going to do it for this one. Many thanks. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.